Sham, I have been telling you that you have to focus on your career. You had said that you want to become IAS officer, but I saw this packet from your pocket, and I see that it is something is brown there. So, are you using drugs? Is it not brown sugar? I am so much perplexed. I'm so much puzzled with your activities. You go to your friends, you celebrate birthdays, you go to movies and doing so many things. What are you going to do in your life? But Papa, please listen to me. What listen to you? Every time you say that you listen to me, but you are ultimately coming with no results. Papa, please listen to me. It is not what it is not. It is your career. You have to work on it. And if you do not work on it, I tell you, I shall have to ask you to leave the house. I cannot see a person or my son wasting his life. Papa, please listen to me. It is not what it is not. It is your life. Is it not your life? Today you are eating brown sugar. Tomorrow you will eat cocaine, hashish, ganja, so many things are there. You will spoil your life. You will ruin your life. What this father and son are talking about? Lunch is ready. Let's have lunch, and there you can talk, both of you. Shanti, please listen. My son shall not spoil his life just by getting addicted to the drugs. Today, I saw a pocket having brown sugar in his uh, trouser. Please ask him to leave all this. Papa, now please listen to me. It is not brown sugar, it is chocolate powder, which the shopkeeper gave to me when I bought a cake for my friend's birthday. You can just taste it. You will find it is not brown sugar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is not brown sugar. It's tasting sweet. But Papa, tell me, how do you know about brown sugar and hashish and cocaine and ganja? Friends, this is the story. There was something unique in that. I will be asking this question to you while giving my concluding remarks before the end of the meeting. Now, starting before I invite the Toastmaster of the day, we have a guest, Toastmaster Seema, and I welcome Toastmaster Seema to our 152nd meeting. Yeah. And with this, I now invite our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, who doesn't need any introduction, but as a custom, I'll introduce you briefly. Toastmaster Rupinder, oh, sorry. Before that, we have to conduct the business section, a unique segment of professional speakers, where we shall talk about the achievements or about the activities which we have done during the last week for achieving our short-term goals. And for that, I shall be sharing my screen. Sandeep, can you please enable sharing the screen? Sandeep?
It's done, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's start. Aditya. Toastmaster Aditya.
Good evening, professional speakers. My short-term goals are twofold. In fact, one trying to be achieved by another. The end goal is to work on the personality trait perfectionism, and I plan to achieve it by building my social media presence and posting 50 posts in 100 days. In the past 2 weeks, I've been a little busy on my personal front, hence could not focus on my short-term goal. I plan to get back on track by next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Toastmaster Anisha Gupta.
Good evening, everyone. I'm continuing my first short-term goal from the previous month, which is reading a book 20 pages per day. While my speed and coverage of 20 pages keeps changing with the content, and right now I'm reading a non-fiction content, which has slowed down my speed, but I'm gathering good quality out of it. In terms of my new goals, I believe I have found a mentor, and I am on the track of streamlining my professional goals to align them with Toastmasters goals and also working on my responsibilities as a VP education. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anisha. Toastmaster Jolly.
Yeah, hello everyone. So
Yeah, Toastmaster Jolly.
sorry, I was on mute. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
So my short-term goals are to build a social media presence by writing blogs and also to increase my vocabulary, which I am working on, and to remove the crutch words in my 2-minute speech, reduce it to 0. Thank you.
Jolly, can you also tell me, what were the activities or the progress you made during the last week?
Yeah, so for the last week, definitely I have been working on the vocabulary thing, but not much on the blog perspective. That is pretty much not done.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Jolly. Mukesh Thakur, DTM.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mukesh Thakur, and my short-term goal as of now is to improve my natural appearance on the camera, and thus I am making more than 1 minute video every day, and I watch it. Till now, I have completed 40 days of recording, and I have a target to make it to 50 days, and then I will think of the next thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh Thakur, DTM. Hello, everyone. I am Raj Mehta. My short-term goals are a bit changed now. One short-term goal is to make 1 or 2 meetings of about 5 minutes per week. Second short-term goal is to write minimum 5,000 words in a week, either in the form of story or novel. And third short-term goal is to read minimum 2 pages with correct pronunciation. Last week, I made a video of about 8 minutes, and I wrote around 2,500 words. I started writing it as a story, but somehow it is coming. The way it is coming, I think it will be a novel someday. And yes, I was able to read more than 2 pages every day. Thank you very much. Toastmaster Roli, Sinha.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I have one short-term goal, which is to have 0 defect for time limits. In the most recent occurrence, I was able to meet the specified time limit. However, I had crossed the maximum time limit allotted for the role, and I'd like to come down further from that so that I can always be safe and within the time limit in the times to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roli. Rupinder Singh, DTM.
I've had to alter my short-term goals a little bit. I was giving my speeches, but following up with evaluators to record their evaluations seems to be a bit of a task. So my short-term goal remains, I want to deliver 20 speeches from the leadership development path by September 30, 2021. And currently I have delivered 5 out of 20 speeches, which are recorded and which will be uploaded and the URL shared. I have removed evaluations from the recordings because I almost never get any recorded evaluations. I do get the written evaluations. So I'm still trying to figure out a way by which I can upload my speech and probably do a self-critical evaluation and upload that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupinder Singh Detia. Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar.
Hello, once again. I have 3 SMART goals. First is to have the better command English language. So I'm pleased to share that my improvement, there's a lot of improvement in practicing grammar and good command English language, because my average score have been increased from 65 to 70%. Secondly, I could not be able to extract new words in last week. Third is I've started a book by LMP's This Question Are the Answers, and I have started writing a speech on it, law of averages, and BP education can note it down for a future professional speech. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep. Now it's time to invite our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Rupinder Singh Detia, who shall be taking the meeting through with the theme Required PR Managers for PS. And if I give a brief introduction of Rupinder Singh Detia, it goes like this. Rupinder Singh Detia, though he doesn't need any introduction. Okay. Rupinder Singh is a seasoned training professional with more than 2 decades of experience in training and development. He is also a twice, almost thrice distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest qualification available in the Toastmaster education program. In August 2018, Rupinder represented his district in the World Championship of Public Speaking at Chicago, where he stood second in the semifinals. Rupinder also holds a diploma in training and development from Indian Society of Training and Development, which is a Government of India accredited institution that specializes in imparting programs on training and development. Rupinder specializes in e-learning, instructional design, behavioral, and leadership training. He also has experience in mobile learning, virtual classrooms, and learning management systems. Let's all welcome Rupinder Singh, DTM, as Toastmaster of the day, with the theme PR managers required for PCF or for PS. Over to Rupinder Singh DTM.
So in my own cute way, I committed a fault. I was not unmuted and I started speaking. I get that a lot, that I speak when I'm not supposed to, and I don't speak when I'm supposed to. But Zoom has got nothing to do with it. It's just that it's just that sometimes I forget to mute or unmute. Welcome all to this yet another edition of a professional speakers meeting where eloquence meets impact. As a Toastmaster of the day, and as your professional speaker, and as the Vice President Public Relations of this club, I am going to walk you through the PR process that I have come up with and what your role is in this entire PR process. As I meander through the course of this meeting, I would like to call to attention the structure followed at a typical professional speakers meeting. Understand that the meeting structure at professional speakers is somewhat different. Yes, we have prepared speeches. Yes, we have table topics. Yes, we have evaluations, the essential ingredients of growth of a typical Toastmasters meeting. But then we add our own ingredients to make for a wonderful concoction. You saw that first ingredient in our business segment, where each member outlined their short-term and medium-term goals, short-term goals. These short-term goals are usually born of a longer-term goal, broken down to medium, and then broken down into achievable short-term goals. Then we will have the professional speech in just a little while from now. From professional speech, we will move on to table topics, which is just like any other Toastmasters meeting. We will also have 2 prepared speeches. And finally, we will have the most important part, the learning part of a Toastmasters meeting, which is the general evaluation section. And I'm happy to announce that today, the general evaluation will be handled by the veteran, the very distinguished Toastmaster, Raj Mehta. Let's have a round of applause for him. And may I request the host to please add him to spotlight if possible. Our timer for today is a champion in more ways than one. He is the current district international speech champion, one of the best counters I know. I'm pretty sure he's going to do a lot of justice to his current role of timer today. Please welcome Toastmaster Aditya Gupta. Our counter today is performing a dual role as an evaluator and as our counter. She will be looking for the clarity in our communication. Let us welcome with a huge round of applause, Toastmaster Anisha Gupta. And the role that will help us keep our communication correct is that of the grammarian. Just for my clarity, do we have the grammarian in this room? Yes, we do. It is distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur. For some reason, I was not able to see him in the participants list. Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur, would you please explain the word of the day?
Good evening, everyone. Once again, the word of the day is based on the previous theme of the meeting. Suddenly, I could not notice the change in the meeting theme. The word of the day is erudite. I am sure most of you are well aware, and most of you will be using the word of the day throughout the meeting. The meaning of the word is having or showing great knowledge that is based on careful study. Example is the theme of the meeting appears to be very general and is still curious and interesting in nature, but I'm sure that the message that will come out of the entire theme of the meeting would be erudite. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Mukesh. We now move on to the first section of our meeting, which is the professional speech. Our professional speaker today has already been introduced. I will not bother you with introducing him again, but I will ask my president to just read out the speech title so that I can get started. Raj Mehta, if you could read out the speech title.
Yeah.
Raj Mehta, I'm waiting for you to read out the speech title. Mukesh, if you could do it so that I could get started formally.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Let's welcome Rupinder Singh DTR as the professional speaker with the title of the speech, Required PR Managers for PS. Required PR Managers for PS. Over to Rupinder Singh DTM as the professional speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj Mehta. PR at PS, or public relations at professional speakers. We need you. And who is you? We're going to identify that in our meeting very soon in this presentation itself. Professional Speakers as a club has stood for over 2 years now. And there have been achievements, there have been accolades, and there have been some myths about professional speakers. I refer to those myths as the elephant in the room. Note that any resemblance to the current speaker on stage is entirely coincidental. The elephant in the room is a concept that refers to an uncomfortable presence. There are some myths about professional speakers that I would like to address right at the beginning. If there is an elephant in the room, you might as well talk about it. Am I correct? So let's talk about some of the myths about professional speakers. The first myth is that we are an advanced club. We are not. We are just a club that has certain restrictions on membership. To put it succinctly, we require members who are qualified at level 2 or higher in pathways, which is the learning program of Toastmasters International, or we require at the very minimum a competent communicator from the traditional learning path. Now, if you consider those as qualifications for an advanced club, then yes, we are an advanced club. But I don't think we are an advanced club. We are just a club where you have to be sufficiently experienced with Toastmasters in order to be a member. So yes, in other clubs, you might get membership. Here you have to qualify to get membership. The second thing that I hear very often is that we restrict guests in our meeting. Nothing could be farther from the truth. We actually encourage guests. It is just that when some guests come who are not Toastmasters or who have not achieved level 2 in Toastmasters, we encourage them to go join other clubs. And somewhere that has taken the form of this myth that we do not encourage guests at our meetings. You're most welcome to attend a meeting at Professional Speakers. You're most welcome to learn from a meeting at Professional Speakers. And if possible, you are most welcome to earn from what you learn at Professional Speakers. Yes, our posters say that the right of admission is reserved. But that is true of any club. It's just that we say it more vocally. We put it out there. No meeting wants unsocial elements. No meeting wants distractors. So we put it out very clearly. But that does not mean that we are not welcoming to the guests. In fact, any professional speakers meeting that guests have attended, the feedback that I have often got is that it feels like home. The third one is that we are not flexible. Now, this is again a complaint that I have received off and on. I try to understand, what do you mean by we are not flexible? Is it that we have strict restrictions on how many meetings you can miss in a month? Yeah, then maybe we are not flexible. Is it that when new members come to our club, they have to first give a 2-minute speech, and based on that, a voting is held, and based on that, we choose to onboard that member to our club? If yes, then yes, we are not flexible. The point is integrity, respect, service, excellence. 4 core values of Toastmasters International. Toastmasters did a great thing. It had integrity as its first value because in their infinite wisdom, integrity is the value from which the other values flow. Without integrity, there is no point having respect. Without integrity, there is no point practicing service leadership. And without integrity, excellence is nothing but eating from somebody else's plate. The challenge with having this ordering of words, integrity, respect, service, and excellence, is that somehow it tends to convey that these values, they are decreasing in it. That integrity comes first, respect comes second, service leadership comes third, and excellence comes the last. At Professional Speakers, our endeavor is to dispel that myth. Hence the focus on ensuring that you attend meetings regularly. Hence the focus of putting a price on our membership. Hence the pursuit of the value called excellence. If in the pursuit of that value, we come across as inflexible, then maybe we are. But isn't that what every club pushes for? So these are the myths that we have. And I, as Vice President of Public Relations of Professional Speakers, will tell you that these are myths. Yes, there are conditions, but they are there to pursue the 4 core values of Toastmasters, which is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And nowhere will you find a bigger embodiment of these 4 core values. You just have to look at our club members. I will not go into the achievement of our clubs, of our club. They speak for themselves. I will tell you our presence on social media. As of now, we are present on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on WhatsApp. So how do these 5 programs work? Or how do I envision them to work in the next less than 6 months that we have remaining? I have come up with a schedule that I intend to follow. And that schedule works. That on day 0, we record the meeting on the cloud. You've seen me ask for co-host access right at the beginning. And yes, there are questions. Why record the meeting? Why not do a YouTube live? Why not do a Facebook live? Why record the meeting on the cloud? Why not on the local computer? because on day one, I will download the video from Zoom and I will upload it back to YouTube. Why that extra effort? Let me address another elephant in the room. When we do a YouTube live in Zoom, the best quality we are going to get is 720p. We are not going to go above that. Recording on the computer gives me 1080p, but recording to the cloud gives me a 4K resolution. Oh yes, I'll be downloading a 3.2 GB file and re-uploading it, thus costing me 6.5 GB, 6.4 GB in data transfer. I get that, but I get quality, number one. Second, when I'm recording on cloud, if it is recording from my computer, it doesn't matter if I drop off in between, because that recording on the cloud will continue. And last but not the least, what I consider to be our game changer. YouTube Live will not allow me to download my recording, but this will, should I need the source file again in the future. I mean, there are only so many 3.2 GB files that I can keep on my hard drive for archival purposes. YouTube Live gives me my very own archive. Next, on day one, we author the timestamps on the video. Those of you who watched the last video of our meeting will notice that in the description, we have put links to timestamps. So if it is a professional speech that you want to look at, you click on that link, boom, you're straight away at the professional speech. If you want to look at a table topic by a particular person, you click on that and you are there, you're listening to that person. Rather than having to go through a 2-hour video, I have given you segments. Go, choose the segment you want to watch. This is method that I have tried in other clubs, and I can tell you in numbers. Prior to this, I was getting 20-25 views. Once I started splitting them up, the first day I got 76 views. And now my videos are averaging around 150 views. That is the difference. Well, I'm on day one. Day 1 to 2, I push the video upload notification to social media and WhatsApp groups. For us, day 0 starts on Sunday. Then I share our next meeting poster on WhatsApp groups, club group, guest group, B41 EC groups. And I expect the same from my PR team and the EC members. Days 3 to 5, we go full social on all the social media websites. And days 6 and day 0 are reserved for reminders and reinforcements, where we ask people to come to our meetings. So what do we need? Well, we need referrals, we need likes, we need follows, we need shares, we need comments. And who do we need for this? I need PR managers. In effect, I need you. I need you to go and like a video that is uploaded. I need you to share my post that goes on Instagram. I need you to comment on LinkedIn. I need you to like my post on Facebook. Share it to a group that you think might find it beneficial. All of this gamut, putting together so many social media channels, putting together, following up with so many people, sending out my broadcast on WhatsApp groups. All of this, it amounts to nothing if it does not involve you. I said in my last meeting, nothing works like a word of mouth. Well, definitely not my mouth, when I go and talk to people, usually the answer that I get is a big fat no, or maybe we'll see, or maybe next month. That is where I depend on people like you. And I can give you a living example right in this room. When I talk to people and when I am not able to convince them, I turn to Mukesh Thakur. It turns out, or it appears, choose what you like, that he has more integrity than I possibly have, and he is more believable. People tend to believe him. But every time he goes and talks to a person, people end up getting convinced. And that is a skill that I have to learn. I get that. But that is the power of word of mouth. I can use the word of the mouth. I can reach out to you every week, ask you to please go on Facebook, like that post, to please go on LinkedIn, comment on it, to go on Instagram, share that post, or just to go on YouTube, comment a person's performance. I could do that week in, week out, but I don't want to because I'm depending on you. Everyone in this room, every member in this club. I can say with a huge degree of confidence, with every bit of confidence that I have, that every member of professional speakers has a heart that beats for this club. And I myself am no stranger to lethargy. Many times I've been asked to go like a link or a post. And I've said that, yes, I will do it tomorrow. One day I realized that all they are asking for is 1 minute of my life, which I'll probably spend looking at the instant videos on Facebook or maybe watching a useless video on YouTube. Why can't I take 1 minute out of that, go like a Facebook post? Because end of day, this will help professional speakers. So no, I'm not looking for a replacement, at least not yet. And no, I'm not looking to resign. If anything, I am pumped up. I know that PR will work. The only difference is that the day it works, the only desire that I have is that the day it works, I have you on my side. One last request. This will be recorded on YouTube. This will be uploaded to YouTube. Let's start with this video. I'm looking at you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Okay. Now this is where you get to take a minute, write feedback about me. Timer, please indicate with a red card once my 1 minute is up.
Toastmaster of the day, the 1 minute is already up.
I should have pinned you. My apologies. We will now begin with the fun part of the meeting. After that rather somber professional speech, and it is my pleasure to call on stage the very erudite. I said that not just to use the word of the day, but because she is very erudite, the very eloquent, and the very efficient Toastmaster Roli Sinha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting, Mr. Professional Speaker of the Day, Mr. VPPR, all rolled into one. There is a reason why the elephant is in the room. Thank you. I believe that the speaker was a little humble while saying that it was coincidental that the thing coincided, but in my opinion, the coincidence was quite intentional. And I just wanted to call that out before we begin with the fun segment, as it is called. I hope that you do have fun, given the theme of the meeting, given the professional speech that you've just heard. The table topics are a way to amplify and enhance our impromptu speaking skills. And we do that by taking a topic and speaking on it for about 1 to 2 minutes. The timer will show the green card once you reach the 1 minute time limit, and that's the minimum time limit. So please do ensure that you speak until then, even if it is full of filler words and sounds. I am sure that our very efficient and very diligent R counter will give us that space. The next card, the yellow card, will go up when it is 1.5 minutes, and the final red card will go up at 2 minutes, and it will stay up until you stop speaking. But I would advise that you stop speaking before it is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so that, yeah, there are no awards. So you don't get disqualified, but people don't probably think a lot of great things about you. So just make sure that you take this as a practice session, and let's get started. So I have some topics. I've been given 18 minutes, and I'd like to ask Madam VP Education the time when we'd like to stop. If you can just give me the exact time by which we need to move on to the session. Somehow I'm having trouble accessing the PDF.
By the agenda of the meeting, that would be 4:40. I'm sorry, 5:02.
Okay, thank you.
And we are 2 minutes behind.
All right, okay. So that's one table topic short. There it is. So who would like to get started with these topics? They're all on the theme. Okay. I see two hands going up. One is unmuted and the other one is muted. So I'm going to go with our prepared speaker of the day, one of the prepared speakers of the day. And then after that, I will come back to you, Toastmaster Sonika. Toastmaster Sandeep, I have 18 topics. Which one would you like? They're all difficult, by the way.
Give me anyone.
No, 7 it is. 7 is a great way to begin. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, not the number, but the topic. All right. Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar, PR at PS. PR at PS, Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar.
The biggest advantage is having PR is the presenting the face of the club. And who can better known who can be a better known while dressing ourselves, and the same we have to dress for the club. What can be presented? What cannot be presented? How can that be done? The aim is to reach at maximum level it can, but it is not the simple task. It is very easy to perform on one stage, but it is very difficult for a person to perform on different stages at the same time. Yes, it's a challenge. But the point is, PR is the face and reflection of the club. Without that, no one know what is the face behind that club, what is the reflection behind that club. So as a PR, if I give a chance, I would make sure that the club be presented in a beautiful manner. The main advantages which it can give to the others for their development. Third, the networking, which I require the support with the professional speaker was done, because it is not required only one stage, it required different stages. And last but not the least, the task should be performed within time limits. It's the advantage, opportunity, and the emotions. We have to combine each together and present it to the world so that we ourselves can be a part of PS and we can face and maybe post ourselves as a PS. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandeep. I really like that. Advantages, opportunities, and emotions at PS. Yes, that's probably what PR is all about, at least when it comes to distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. Sonika, would you unmute yourself and tell me which number you'd like?
Number 9.
Number 9. Okay. So this is something that I've kind of paraphrased from a person called Alvin Adams. And he said, and I am not quoting now, public relations is equal to instant communication for inquisitive members.
Okay.
Public relations to instant.
Roli, I cannot hear you. I lost your voice. Roli, I cannot hear you. Were you trying to say something? No, I cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
I apologize. I was getting a call from the office and I'm sorry about that.
No,
So,
sorry.
Toastmaster Sonika Jha, public relations is equal to instant communications for inquisitive members. Public relations is equal to instant communications for inquisitive members. Toastmaster Sonika Jha.
Thank you. In the times when anything that you need is at the light of speed, so is communication and information. It is that easy. We all are working professionals and we know what is the importance of having a public relations team at an organization which has to disseminate any critical information in a microsecond or a millisecond. Yes, there are people out there who are inquisitive and they want to know a lot what's happening. For example, nowadays, I'm really excited for one thing. And guess what? It's the IPO of Zomato. The moment I read about this news, I was extremely elated and excited. Oh, my favorite brand is going to come out for an IPO. Should I invest in that? Should I buy the share? And a lot of thoughts started going around my head. What was at work? PR team. Yes, the PR team. They knew that there are thousands of customers like me who are waiting for this exciting news to be out. They must have done a great job day in, day out, helping to craft nice messages, the correct information, release, work for the press release, and be out there in the news. So definitely PR is something that aims to attract and connect with a certain set of audience. And yes, we call them as the inquisitive brains. It's the fastest medium in the way a company communicates to a dedicated channel of people who give reliable information, and the company's image is held at their stake, however they want to put it, and usually it's good. So yeah, PR works in a way that all the stakeholders who are interested and inquisitive are engaged and are well informed time to time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sonika. Quite an erudite speech right there. And I'd encourage everyone to please use the word of the day. I thought that distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh's usage would have been a springboard for everyone else, but I see that we need to probably work a little bit more on that. Now I'd like to invite on stage Seema. Would you like to participate? Excellent.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Please tell me the number that you'd like.
5.
Excellent. Okay. Seema, a good PR story is infinitely more effective than a front page ad. A good PR story is infinitely more effective than a front page ad. Seema.
Well, thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and I totally concur with it that a story, PR story, is more than an advertisement on the front page, because everyone wants to see a person who has got benefited out of something, and then person ponders on whether that decision, if in future that person takes, is going to be beneficial for that respective person or not. For example, if a story is mentioned on the page, then a person whosoever is wondering and thinking to go for something will at least give it a thought, read it, and maybe he or she will think of that if this person can attain, so can he or her. And thereby, I really feel it's the product, and yes, more than that, the benefits a person gets. And yes, if a person is able to see the sea change through the stories, because we all know stories are the medium through which everyone connects himself or herself, and it is the connection that binds everyone. And we all know the great speakers, they have the quality to connect. That is the reason they are able to win at the champion level. And those things give a person a ray of hope and make him or her somewhere down the line have faith that if that person can go for this and attain it, so that person also. In synopsis, stories are the experiences of people which are demonstrated on the PR page. Thereby people can at least feel that a person who has been through the process has got benefited. And if I give it a shot, because there's risk everywhere, but everyone wants to take measured risk, thereby less chances to get lost, and we all want results. So I totally agree that yes, a story is far important than merely an advertisement. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Seema. That was very eloquent. Measured risks for better results. Excellent opinion, worth keeping in mind. Now I'd like to see if, okay, Rupali, I was hoping would be there. Our R counter, Toastmaster Anisha Gupta, would you unmute yourself and participate?
With a lot of pleasure, yes.
Great. Please let me know your number.
Oh, I missed which ones are remaining. 8?
I have 18. Don't worry.
Okay, 15.
15. All right. This should be right up your alley. Toastmaster Anisha Gupta. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Toastmaster Anisha Gupta.
Few days back, I heard Picasso's story. Picasso, where he is in a book, is in a shop, and this little girl comes to him asking for a painting. Picasso draws a painting for him, for her, and then asks for a humongous amount of money. At that time, Picasso explains to the girl that while it took him just 5 minutes to draw that painting, it took him many, many years to learn the art of painting. Well, think of a twist at what would have happened if in those few couple of minutes, Picasso would had just refused. Hey girl, just go away. My time is not worth you. If Picasso would have done that, would it have ruined his image? Or would that have added to his dignity, his respect, the one that he has earned over so many years? From that twist, I think whether a few minutes can change the destiny, the dignity, the respect, the skill someone has earned for 20 years. Can 5 minutes make a change? If you fumble at a conference while you're the host, or for example, if you're an ISC speaker and you are standing there at the world stage and you just fumble or falter or say something that hurts someone's sentiments, would that change who you are? I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of few minutes, and to err is human. On that note, I believe while those 5 minutes can change, it's us humans to understand that we all are humans and we all can make mistakes. Thank you for that lovely topic, table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anisha. It takes a very brave and a very forgiving person to take that stance. And I hope that more of you exist, at least in spirit. Thank you so much. Can I take one more topic? I know that it's 5:01. Can I have one more speaker? Thank you. Okay. Who'd like to go next? Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur. Yay!
I knew it was coming.
Good. You can tell me your number.
16, my birthday.
Oh, yes, definitely. Okay, this I think you should be able to speak volumes on, but just 2 minutes will do for the time being. Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur, everything you do or say is PR. Everything you do or say is PR. Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur.
Thank you very much for this topic. And as you have said that I will be able to talk a lot about it. And I was writing about this in my daily writing in this morning. And what I observed that every decision that we are making in this life, every moment that we are living, and every belief that we are having are the results of what we have been experiencing since our birth. The present moment, the situation we are in is nothing but the consequences of everything that we have been thinking and have been in our subconscious. Sometimes we feel that the world is unfair to me. People have not given me a good treatment. Still, We cannot blame anyone else, because it is because of the decisions that I have taken, and those decisions are being lived on every moment. For example, I am sitting here and I have many choices. Either I can think bad about someone else who I assume that have done bad about me, or I can complain about my life, or I can keep thinking positively for the future, or I can just keep look forward about with the solution approach. Now, whatever I am going to take, whatever I am going to assume, whatever I am going to believe is going in my subconscious, and the rest moment or next reaction or next action I am going to take will be based on whatever I have been thinking. Hence, whatever we are saying, whatever we are doing are our PR. It is said that when you meet one person, there are 8 impressions that goes on different segments of your mind. And those impressions are nothing but the aura that is exuding out of your body, the calmness that is reflecting on your face, the soothingness of your voice. So everything that is that are becoming part of our personality is nothing but how we are living in the moment. So every word, every action, every reflection is my PR. Back to the table topics master.
Indeed, it is. Thank you so much, all the 5 erudite speakers. And with that, I would like to call back on stage distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roli, and thank you for supporting me on PR, for selecting topics that were related to PR. Before I continue, I would like to share my screen with you to showcase what I'm talking about. This is the screen. Relax, I'm not going to play the video. I am not going to have you look at my face for very long. And no, I'm not a narcissist, nor do I have narcissist NPD, whatever that stands for. What I want you to look at is this. So starting today, for every meeting, I take it upon myself that every YouTube upload will go like this. You want to look at the meeting report, you click and you will get the meeting report. You want to look at the Grammarian Report, especially on days that Roli plays the Grammarian, you will get the Grammarian Report. You want to look at my table topic, sorry, self-obsessed, you can look at that. But this is how it is going to go. And just to show you that this works, this video was uploaded yesterday, July 10, 2021. We already have 30 views. We managed less than these views in an entire week. You can go and check it for yourself. This is 30 views, and I have not posted it anywhere on social media yet. This is the video working on its own, 30 views on its own. So it is effective. I will stop sharing the screen, and now I will move on to the prepared speeches section. We have 2 prepared speeches today with a lot of coincidences. Number one, both of them are 5 to 7 minutes in length. Both of them are understanding your leadership style. The only place where they differ is A, the speakers. It's not the same speaker delivering the same speech twice. And B, the paths. First, and before I continue, I'll just read out the speech purpose once and for all so that we save on time, and I will simply introduce the next speaker. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. Both of these members have taken their leadership style assessment. I will be calling the first of them on stage, Toastmaster Roli Sharma. Roli, can we very quickly do an audio video check for you?
Yeah. Am I audible and visible?
You are audible. You are visible. Roli Sharma, the best thing that ever happened to me the best thing that ever happened to me, Jolly Sharma.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you, DTM Rupinder. And today I am going to share the experience of the best thing that has ever happened with me. Not the time when I just passed my 10th with almost 90% in 3 of the major subjects, or not when I graduated in geology. It was not the instance when I did my MCA or I got my first job. The best thing that ever happened to me was not even my marriage also. What was that? That was when I embraced motherhood. Yes. And I would like to share this experience with all of you, that it was not that particular instance that when I first embraced motherhood, but motherhood for me, my friends, has been a journey which I have lived so far. And I have a daughter who is 14 years old, and I have a son who is 9.5 years old. So I'm blessed to be mothers of a daughter and a son. So far, the journey has been joyful, elated, empowering, and it has somehow given me the power of the invincible. It has provided all the kind of adventures in my life and a spontaneity at times when I do feel bored. I am bored by my work, or I am bored by my usual life scenarios. But when I just sit with them, I get some or other more motivation or goal to go and get some. Let me share you the first experience of when I was really worried. It was just 2.5 months, 2.5 years when my daughter was old, and I was just winding up the winter clothes and putting it up, tucking up inside a box bag. She was quietly standing by, and she had just learned to walk and just talk a bit. And she was just putting her hands up in that, and also sometimes going here and there. She was joyfully watching what Mama was doing. And I also felt proud, like a mother, that she was learning most of the things from me. As I was about to put the lid of the box, she had just put her fingers over there, tiny little fingers, and her finger crushed off accidentally. I was so worried. I really felt as if my own fingers had been chopped off. I was worried because this was the first instance when a child doesn't even know how to express whether the kind of hurt or the kind of pain she is feeling. I was worried at the time because blood also started spilling off her finger. And I rushed to the hospital along with my husband. Then the doctor assured that there was no as such bone injury. And then at that time, it was a moment of relief for me. That was not only the first time that it happened. Second time again with my second child, once I went to Delhi Heart, he was also around 3 years old. Though I used to take a lot of care after this first, when I just crossed this first instance with my first child. So second time, I used to take a lot of care with my second child. But to my surprise, we were just, myself and my daughter went and to order some of the menu items in a restaurant, and my husband was sitting on a table. And this cute little guy, he went there, and there was this one standing fan, and he had put his finger inside that fan. That second incident again reminded me of my first one. And this time I could not forgive myself. I just rushed to the subsurgent hospital nearby. All the time I was feeling so guilty about the thing. But again, thank to the Almighty, this time also his finger did not chop off. These were some of the horrible experiences, or some where I was really alarmed by the situation that I am a mother and I felt very helpless. So I do not want to frighten all of you with all these incidences. There were moments when I really felt elated also by that things. Like my daughter, she secured admission in Banasthali. I was very proud of that. First time when she went to go on a karate championship at the school level, I was very overjoyed. It felt as if that is a win for me. So motherhood is not only something which has left me sleep deprived at the initial moments, or feeling overwhelmed at times, or even I also had lost my usual body. I have now become more fatter. It has its own challenges as well, like scarcity of time, imbalanced life, or lack of the emotional bond. Because I am a working mother, I have to cater to my professional needs as well as personal needs. So I think motherhood is something which also imbibes a kind of leadership inside you. Because if I reflect back on my journey, I see that it has somewhere empowered me to become a strong leader, to lead things at my home front, to take decisions, and to show the path to my kids. Because for them, it is me who is the role model. I have to at times set the boundaries also. I have to be at times respectful and supportive and loving also. At times I have to be hard decision makers also. Now that I have a growing teenage daughter, she at times throws back her own tantrums. She is like, you are not even listening to me. You are thinking about yourself. So at times I have to spend quality time with them, be very patient when I don't want to be. Even if I am tired by my meetings, at times they seek my attention. I think it has somewhere developed a sense of leadership inside me, which is also helping me in my professional situations also to be more patient with my team. This is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And with this, I would like to hand over the stage now back to the team. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for sharing what was not a speech, but an experience, Toastmaster Jolly. And rest assured, you're not a horrible mother. If anything, you're a wonderful one. Moving on to our second speaker, who I'm pretty sure is a wonderful father, one of the hardest working people that I know of. May I request that Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar be spotlighted? Is Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar in the room? May I request that he be spotlighted? Okay. Sandeep, can we very quickly do an audio video check?
Just before, can we ask for the feedback for the speaker?
This is the most often used icon in WhatsApp.
Yes, let's please write down feedback for Toastmaster Jolly. Please indicate when 1 minute is up, and I've got you pinned. Thank you. Now, again, let's try this once again. Sandeep, can we do an audio video check for you?
Am I audible?
You're audible, you're visible.
Can you please confirm is my screen will be, let me share my screen also. Well, is it visible?
You've not shared your screen yet. If you're trying to share your screen.
Just a moment.
Yes, it is visible. I can see that there are 10 slides in the presentation. Okay. Sandeep Kumar, my suit, Sandeep Kumar. Take it away.
A very good evening to fellow members and dear guests. Do you wear the same suit or cloth for every occasion? Or you repeat the same suit or cloth for a particular event? I would probably sense no. Because we actually identify the event emotions, event theme, and then we acknowledge, try to dress up ourselves. Whether we have to participate or not, whether we have to be presented or not. Let's take it another way. We know that water exists in three forms: solid, liquid, and gas. If I have to use a water in beer, at which form we have to use? Ice. Second, if we have to inhale and get a treatment from cold, that which form we have to use the water? Steam. And last, if we have a lemonade, then what form of water is to be used? Liquid. As simple as that. The main thing is you have to be a tendency to exist in these forms. Means you have a sense of leadership before going into the styles of leadership. You have to be a leadership sense. You have to be a leadership ability. And this is the main cause why the leadership existence. And after that, the different style of leaderships came up. I have read many articles, and even I remember the speech by DTM Rupinder Singh last year. These are the leadership which I experienced during my personal and professional journey, including Toastmaster journey as well. One is charismatic leadership. Second is transformational leadership. Third is coaching leadership. Fourth is democratic leadership. We often called it as participative leadership as well. And last but not the least, collaborative leadership. Let me touch one by one. Charismatic leadership. Sometimes I find few people in the organization, and I thought, why people pay so much high salary to this kind of leaders? Sometimes I thought they are good for nothing. But when I witnessed them during the conflict situation, during the situation through the which organization is going, that I found a difference. This type of leader uses their communication skills, persuasiveness, and charm to influence others, and they have ability to connect with people on a deep level. They have pros, they are highly inspirational and motivation due to their advanced and I would say effective communication. Second, they make followers feel heard and understood. Third, they have a creative movement towards the positive change. Cons, they can become more focused on themselves rather than people. It means they care of themselves first rather than the people, and has the potential to become self-serving rather than the serving others. Now next is transformational leadership. This type of leadership has a vision based on identified needs and guides their teams that unified goals through inspiration and motivational. The pros of this type of leadership conducive to build strong leadership and encouraging collaboration. This type of leadership can lead to more creativity, growth, and empathy to their team members. And they actually give their team members liberty to do their job. And there are some disadvantages as well. They can cause feeling instability. There are lots of pressure from the higher management, or maybe the person who thinks I would be lead by example. And last, this type of leadership cannot fit for all kind of organization. Now, third is coaching leadership. And this type of leadership reminds me of Toastmaster journey. I would say the service leadership can be a sub part of this type of leadership. The main feature of this type of leadership is it has a style defined by collaboration, support, and guidance. They are more focused on bringing out the best in their teams to perform a specific task which is needed by organization. The very positive point is about this is there is no communication gap. I would say these are two, they prefer two-way communication. And they are always ready for asking for the feedback to grow themselves and to grow others. They encourage personal and professional development and focusing on supportive rather than judging others. Their disadvantages, the resources are very incentive, since it requires a lot of time and energy for development. They does not always lead to the fast, most efficient results, because development and support, they actually it's about the people development rather than performing a task. May not be ideal choice for high pressure, since they take care of the emotions, the feelings based on the situations. So that is why they feel pressure performing task on a specific time. Democratic leadership. This is the most used or maybe style adopted in most of the organizations, started from businesses, institutions, government, any kind of things. If I would say the statistics, 70% of the organizations run by this kind of leadership, because they are inviting their team members to have the proper decision process about the change, about the how the task can be performed, how the result can be delivered. The positive point is they have variety of opinions and way of thinking as they involve their team members very well. From lower to higher, there is a proper engagement, and hence this results in the productivity. And since there is a lot of engagement, so outcome is supported by majority of the team members. Again, since this is very highly adopted style of leadership, but there is some disadvantages as well. There are a lot of involvements in there which can lead to confusion or communication gap. And there are a lot of engagement which leads to a longer time to come out on a certain decision. And if there's a team member who is unskilled or untrained, there is no space to become or maybe to be a part of the decision-making process. Collaborative leadership. With the emerge of time, this type of leadership has gained the advantage because it encourages people to work together, to take care of each other. The main purpose of this type of leadership is to accomplish shared goals with other team members and departments to achieve results, to achieve tasks given by the organization. The advantage is it can lead to more creative, innovative ways of thinking. It creates an opportunity for all the members and also provide diversification. It also builds trust within team members and organization. And again, there are some cons as well. It may lead to ambiguity in role and responsibilities, since there is a concept of shared goals in this type of leadership. It can create a cross-team conflict. It would be better to share the role, to have the clarity on responsibilities and tasks. Last, it is a struggle for potential power the leader has to actually get their members on the task. Now I have showed you the all type of, I would say, leadership task, or say the suits. Now it is time that what actually suits me. Let me take out some points which actually relate to my dressing sense. Every type of leader has some thought of mind, and these are the points which I found based on my personal journey, professional and Toastmaster journey, which every leader can thought of. Every leader is thinking about that their team member and including themselves have a positive attitude and positivity towards the change. Second, they themselves shall be self-motivated and they keep their members team motivated. Number three, they believe in building strong leadership and encourage collaboration rather than building the conflicts. Number four, they focus on team growth, both personal and professional. Five, they don't hide anything unless and until it is very secret. They should be there. They don't present or maybe focused on any communication gap. They're always ready for constructive feedback to improve further. Next, they are goal as well as result oriented, and they want their team to be in the same line. They are very clear on roles and responsibilities, and their team members also know about what roles to be performed and what the responsibilities they handle. Also, they actually appreciate punctuality and discipline in their team members. So if I look over these points in myself and the team and the people around me, so I conclude myself that I somewhere, if I compare with the short-term goals, I would somewhere about collaborative of 65% of leadership style. But if I consider myself to have a long-term goals along with other people, so I would consider 35% I am having the coaching style of leadership. Both type of leadership actually required. As I said, that it is not only water which is actually takes the all the things together. It is the existence on what forms and based on the situations, and I would say the experience which I had during the situations and the experience which I gained in the last few years, I found myself to be best fitted in these two categories. Thank you for a patience, audience. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Sandeep, for that insight into leadership styles. With that, we move on to our next section. But before that, I have spent a lot of time on YouTube, I know that. But why are we investing in other channels? Well, everything has a purpose. We're going after Instagram because that is the channel preferred by millennials. We are going after LinkedIn because that is the channel that is preferred by professionals. We're going after Facebook because it is Facebook, the largest social media networking site in the world. But the most important part of our PR strategy is going to be the WhatsApp, our guest group. Before I hand you over to our general evaluator, I will be sharing in this meeting the URLs for each of those links. Do subscribe to them. As Toastmaster of the day, I will be signing. Once again, take a minute to write feedback for something. I'm getting old. Thank you, Aditya. I will now hand it over to the general evaluator. Understand that as VPPR, I am going to give my 100% and if possible, more. It would help me immensely if you can do that as well, because that growth is going to be exponential. Looking forward to grow and glow with professional speakers as I hand you over to Raj Mehta. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, you're up.
Thank you, Rupinder Singh DTM, the Toastmaster of the day, for conducting such an excellent meeting. We feel that we have been doing good, or maybe some of us are feeling that we have done best. But we know that somewhere inside we need to improve. And this session would address that inquisitive feeling that we have to improve. And for that improvement, we need to evaluate each and every activity which we have done in all the segments which have been conducted till now. So we shall be evaluating the speeches, the professional speech, and the supplementary role players reports, and the evaluation of the reports, and then I shall be giving my report on different activities done in this meeting. We shall first start with the evaluation of professional speech, which the title required PR managers at PS, delivered by Rupinder Singh DTM. I request Rupinder Singh DTM to come on the virtual stage and take the feedback on your PS. Over to you, Rupinder.
I will digress from seeking evaluations. Instead, I will turn the stage over to you. And I will use this as an opportunity to answer any questions that you have. I will start with Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur. Mukesh, any questions? Else, let's go for feedback.
Thank you, Rupinder. It was a very good structured speech. There were many interesting elements in your speech, and that's what made me hooked throughout your speech. The only recommendation that I am thinking is when you are asking your audiences to subscribe, comment, and everything that is in your favor, what is in for me, why I am going to do so. That appeal was required. That is my only suggestion.
Thank you. But do you think that this PR strategy can work?
Yes.
Thank you. Roli, Sinha.
I agree with distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur about what's in it for me needs to be pronounced. You mentioned the PR team, but you did not mention like the members of the PR team. If it is just you, then I would avoid saying team. And I would also ask that if this has to go on live, then probably our handles could have been included as well. Just not like counting on the YouTube part of it, which I felt was a lot more on it. A lot more focus was on YouTube, but the other handles could have also been covered. Like, what is your strategy behind that?
Okay,
like,
great.
How do you plan? Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. As far as team is concerned, one man with courage is a majority. I know that is not the appropriate thing to say right now. Let me ask distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, adding you to spotlight, sir.
Rupinder, I felt your presentation covered a lot of things. I had just one question or doubt. If we are going to delay the PR, according to you, our meeting shall be available on social media after a gap of 2, 3, or 5 days. Will it not impact our demand? Because you are saying that instead of putting it live, we shall first record it on cloud, and then we shall be cutting it into segment wise and then uploading it on YouTube and other social media. So it is going to delay. Will it not impact our PR?
To that, I have an answer because I looked at the number of hits that we have previously. It is not delaying our PR. If anything, it is only augmenting it because 30 views versus 20 views so far. In one day, 30 views. The number speaks for itself. But I promise that by day 0, by day 1, the video will be uploaded and we can promote it for the next 2 days before we go for the next meeting. Thank you. Anisha.
If I heard it correct, between my juggling of multiple things, you're looking for questions and not recommendations or commendations.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. I have a question for you.
Mhm.
As a listener of your PR plan, I understood your PR plan. I know what I need to do as an audience. My question is, what is the basis of your myths that you presented? Is this from your observations? Is this from your experience? Is this from your research by comparing it with other clubs, because you're presenting myths on a particular club? If you would have, and recommendation would be, if you would have presented that would help me buy in your point as a customer.
Good question. I happened to talk to a few Toastmasters. They would not want to reveal their names and got some feedback, which I incorporated in this particular presentation. My miss, I should have mentioned it in the presentation itself. Thank you for sharing that. Guests, I am not asking you for feedback, and that is for a deliberate reason. One, the yellow card is up, and two, because I really want a buy-in from fellow members on this PR strategy. And I would rather have the doubts removed from within the club and then proceed outside, coming to you that, look, we have a concrete PR plan and we are together on this, and now we need your support. On that note, I will seek an end to my evaluation. I will hand it over to the general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Rajman.
Thank you, Rupinder Singh DTM, for completing your evaluation within time. Moving on, we had our next speaker, Toastmaster Jolly Sharma, who delivered a speech titled "The Best Thing That Happened to Me." And for that, we have a dedicated evaluator in Mukesh Thakur DTM. I request Mukesh Thakur DTM to evaluate Toastmaster Jolly Sharma's speech. Over to you, Mukesh Thakur.
Thank you very much, Jolly. We are in the organization where leaders are made, and you have brought out some unique traits of leadership from your personal lives. And even if it was our normal day-to-day regular activities, you succeeded in bringing and focusing, spotlighting those traits that most of human beings are capable of. I congratulate you for achieving all of the objectives of your project. You brought out the leadership traits that you had, your leadership styles. You also brought by the conclusion of the speech. At the beginning, I was not aware how it is going to relate to the project or the objectives of the speech. By the ending, everything was tick, 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 tick. So congratulations on that. Starting with the good points of your speech, it was an energetic opening, and then you took us to the roller coaster ride of various incidents as you introduced you to your basic thing. What was the best thing that could have happened to someone someone else's life, and then you introduced that best thing that happened to you, and it was your son and your daughter. And then you took us to various incidences, and we were intrigued to your speeches, what would have happened, and it was mixed with the emotions that was exuding out of your voice. I could clearly feel the tremble that was coming from your voice when you said that my daughter's fingers were chopped off, and I was feeling that pain in your voice. Overall, the speech was well structured. It was interesting, it was meaningful, it was sensible, and the objectives were satisfied. Coming on the sides that I could have think that you can improve, or I could have I wanted to listen more, is one, try to become eloquent. Even if your delivery is smooth, you are speaking continuously, I feel there is gap between two words when you are speaking, and you will notice only when you watch your video. So I feel there is a break between two words, and if you feel that gap, it will appear as a eloquent speech, and that will have a lot of impact on the minds of the audience. Second thing, when you were delivering the drama part, when incidences were happening, your son went to hospital and your daughter went to hospital, you could have brought more emotions. The entire drama could have been brought on that moment. So otherwise, I felt that you are confident, you were delivering the entire speech smoothly, and I would be loving to hear you more, because every time I hear you, you are bringing some useful content, some interesting thing. So just a bit work on your emotional part and eloquency, you will be a great professional speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh Thakur team, for this elaborative evaluation. Coming on to the next speech delivered by Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar, titled My Suit, which shall be evaluated by Toastmaster Anisha Gupta. Over to Toastmaster Anisha Gupta.
You have to have your leadership style and leadership trait before you know your leadership style. Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar today took us not just through the various leadership style, but probably through his wardrobe, because he is showing us all the suits that he is carrying in his arsenal. Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar, you delivered a speech on understanding your leadership style. And I must say, with that last slide, I won't forget it, because I remember what's your leadership style. And I would say that this is an exemplary instance where everyone should learn, and that when they are researching about something, it can be anything outwards or it can be something of their own. Key data points as a result does make the impact. Sandeep, your 65% to 35% ratio of your leadership style of collaborating and coaching makes me confident about your excellence at this project. Few other things that you really worked on well at was that smile that you brought on at the very first sentence. Those hand gestures and the right eye contact. While at it, you took us from the different leadership styles. Something that I want to recommend that you can work upon is how you're delivering your information, because this was an informational speech. And when using visual aids, I would really recommend to think of what's that one thing the listener would remember. Because if we have too many elements on the visual deck, and for example, it could be too much text or too many colors, it can take the listener's attention away. While you were presenting the different styles, I could see that you have a template ready for your styles, and you're showing what is it, and you're showing the pros and cons. But as a listener, I already know the first template. If I don't have an element of surprise in the next few slides, my attention is certainly going to waver off. For that, I recommend that you play with the templates, play with the slides, or just keep them simple, as minimum text as possible. My experience as a teacher tells me that if you're speaking and if you're presenting text, the listener's attention is going to go two directions. So remember, tap onto only one sense of the listener. In fact, if it is a deliberate information that you want the people to remember, you can say, let's just take 30 seconds to go through the slide, and then you continue. And while at it, you don't have to speak. To summarize, I would say that you presented us with the 5 styles of leadership, and you also presented us the best example of an analogy with water, ice, and steam in how it fits into different styles. And few things that you can work upon is your visual aid, and you are going to be a true leader. Thank you, and back to you, the General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anisha and Toastmaster Mukesh, for giving their evaluation on CRC basis. Moving on, now we shall have reports from the supplementary role players. And for that, I would like to invite our grammarian, Mukesh Thakur DTM.
Thank you very much. So I will be giving my reports. It will not to be going to share to be a share on the screen. I have been noting it down. Starting with good uses. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta used the word perplexed. Toastmaster of the day used ingredients, elephants in the room succinctly, and distractors. These were good uses. Toastmaster Seema used ponders. Roli used exist in spirit. Jolly used in many good words like invincible, joyful, elated, spontaneity, tantrums, and the entire speech was full of interesting words. Word of the day was used thrice, once by the Toastmaster of the Rupinder Singh DTM and Roli Sinha twice. Coming to the parts that can be improved, as an audience and as the grammarian of the day, most of the meeting I did not find much areas of improvement because in most of our members are already having rich language experience, knowledge. They are erudite in this English language. There are few things that some of us needs to work. For example, in the mission statement, the word there was used that was not required. It is grammatically or otherwise also required to be mentioned because mission statement is important. One of the sentence was used, there will be guests gradually. The intention was the guests will be joining later, not gradually. The word career was pronounced as carrier, and there was a use of Hindi word that was not translated. And in some of our members, I found there were multiple disagreements between subject verb and disagreements, subject verb agreements, and also the parts of grammar and the use of article. I would not like to mention the speech. I would like to go to the speaker and tell them about the work they have to do. I could give the number of examples, but that is not going to help the speaker. In some other cases, one of the speakers said share you, so it should be share with you. And one word was said that was more fatter. It cannot be more and fatter also, it can be fatter only. Otherwise, there was a leisure time at the desk of grammarian, and I congratulate all of the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh Thakur DTM, for your report. I would advise that as we have been sharing our reports, maybe from next time onwards, it would be better that if all the reports are shared, because we shall be able to see visibly that what is the things which we need to improve upon. Moving on to next supplementary role player, our counter, which was played by Toastmaster Anisha Gupta. I request Toastmaster Anisha Gupta to come up with her report.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. I'm playing the R counter for the day for the second time in a row. And I was trying to notice the pattern where people use speech impediments. The last time I had noticed the pattern that it was either when someone is looking at the screen, looking for a response, looking for audience reaction, or trying to find some information on the screen. That happens often. And that is when most of our R's, arms, or short and long pauses come in. Today, it was a similar scenario when someone is looking for a response, and I would share through my report what were those instances. I hope you can see my screen, and these are some of the instances I have noted down. I want to congratulate some of the members who really showed good usage of pauses, and they were able to come up with no speech impediments at all. While I do not have a total number of speech impediments right now, I will share that in the chat box moments later. Sandeep had no speech impediment as the Sergeant-at-Arms. Raj Mehta, as the presiding officer in his opening, had some speech impediments and certain long pauses. And similarly, these are the numbers for other people. I want to show a pattern that there was a long pause when Raj Mehta said, let's start. I think it was because there was a misconnection in some information. There was a pause or when the presiding officer was introducing the professional speaker while looking for some introduction. There were instances of stretched words like and, or there is one that says, let's be meeting. So the last syllable of the word is stretching at sometimes. Another space when people tend to use repetitive words, and so is a very repetitive word, is when people try to connect sentences. Now, sentence connectors like and, but, now, which I used right now, are to be used but minimally so that you don't make long sentences and you keep them short. Keeping a short sentence helps you bring in the aspect of breadth to the proper full stop or even comma when there's a short pause. Such recommendations are from the counters test for today, and I hope everyone would improve and reduce on their speech impediments. If someone wants to know anything in particular, they can directly message me. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anisha Gupta. Next supplementary role player is timer, which was played by Toastmaster Aditya Gupta. I request Toastmaster Aditya Gupta to come on the stage and deliver his report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Allow me a moment to share my screen. And could you confirm with a thumbs up if my screen is visible? Thank you. Honestly, not a very good day at the timer's office. We are running 10 minutes late as per our agenda. In the opening segment, we have 2 greens and 2 reds. The rest of the things were on time. Only the business segment went overboard with 20 seconds. In the Toastmasters of the Day segment, we have a couple of greens and just 2 reds. A good job done there. In the professional speech segment, during the introduction part and the silence part, we went overboard by a cumulative of 15 seconds. And the professional speaker managed to finish off his speech at 17 minutes and 59 seconds, right before I could show up the red card. Good job there. During the table topics segment, the 5 table topic speakers, all of them were right on time, except for just one, distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh, who went overboard
only by 4 seconds. All the rest of the table topic speakers were right on time. During the prepared speeches segment, the Toastmaster of the day went a little overboard with introducing the speaker. The prepared speech one was overboard by 3 seconds. And the second speaker went a little long overboard. The time allotted was 7 minutes, 30 seconds at max, and the speech went on till 12 minutes, 30 seconds. It was probably because of a technical glitch at my end. Apologies for that. During the evaluation segment, we were able to cope with for the time lost. Our general evaluator managed to quickly introduce the evaluators and the supplementary role players on the stage, saving us a little time. Thank you, general evaluator. The first evaluation took 5 minutes. The second took 3 minutes, 40 seconds, went overboard by 40 seconds. Third, the evaluation for second speaker went overboard by 13 seconds. And the Grammarian and our counters reports timestamps are on the screen, 3 minutes, 44 seconds and right 3 minutes. That is all for the timers report today. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, timer, Toastmaster Anisha Gupta, for this brisk and brief report about the time taken by various role players during meeting today. Now I shall be evaluating the other things which are yet to be evaluated. Before that, I have been requested by Toastmaster of the day, Rupinder Singh DTM, to give him 1 minute. Over to you, Rupinder Singh, for one minute only.
Thank you. I'm going to take less than that because there was a request about the URL. Here it is, complete with the QR code, and this also goes on our video so that you can scan it. I'm sharing the screen now. This is our QR code. This is what you scan, and you will straight away be taken to the various links for our social media websites, WhatsApp group, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. That's it from my side. I will stop sharing the screen. Back to you, sir.
Thank you. First, I shall be covering table topic session. After that, I shall move to Sergeant at Arms, Presiding Officer, and the Toastmaster of the day. Table topic master, Roli, Sinha, I would say dearer Toastmaster, if not DTM. She had a lot of topics, and this shows that she was fully prepared for this session. She opened the session with comments about Toastmaster of the day's comments about her that I think could have been either avoided or could have been taken during the session itself. She explained the timing rules, which was an excellent thing, because with guests, if they are not Toastmasters, timing rules are required to be explained. And she also asked about the timing from the VP end. I think in anything you want to ask about timing should have been asked from the timer instead of VP end. But as far as the topics are concerned, they were excellent topics, and they were concerning, and they were around the theme of the meeting, which were good. And the topics were short and brief and easily understandable. That was another plus. And also praising the speaker, each speaker after the speaker has delivered his talk about the topic. That was another motivational way of encouraging more and more persons to come on the stage and participate in the table topic session. Coming on to the table topic speakers. First speaker was Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar, and his topic was PRS at PS. He spoke on the topic, he was confident, composed. I felt that, yeah, he also told us about various benefits of PR. I felt that if he could have included anything which he might have felt negative or which is lacking in PR or PS that could have added uh, some uh, some more points for us to work on. Next table topic speaker was Toastmaster Sonika Jha, and her topic was PR is instant communications for inquisitive members. She also told about the importance of immediate information because it's a information world and nothing can go without immediate information. She gave the example of IPO of Zomato and how the PR team has worked wonders in that particular case. She was fluent, she was knowledgeable, and she was able to relate the topic with the corporate example. I felt she could have used her hands for expressing for delivering his her table topic speech with a better impression. Next table topic speaker was Toastmaster Seema, and her topic was a good PR story is infinitely informative than advertisement on front page. She agreed with the topic and she gave an example of someone seeing a PR and then the result thereof. She was dot on the topic and but I felt that she lacked smile. She was not a bit confident. She was not able to come up with the words which she might have been trying to use. Her face was a bit tense, and I think she could have added about the paid uh, paid version of advertisement, because PR is free and advertisement is a paid thing. Next table topic speaker was Toastmaster Anisha Gupta, and her topic was it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. She immediately came with the story of Picasso and a girl about a painting. And when she was telling her the story, she turned herself into a conversational style. She had variety in voice, and she also then gave the example of if you fumble, in spite of so much practice and rehearsals, if you fumble at the main event, so it might have taken a number of years to make your reputation, but this can get ruined within 5 minutes. I again felt that she also missed hand gestures while delivering the table topic speech. Last but not the least, table topic speaker was Mukesh Thakur, DTM, and his topic was everything you do or you say is PR. And he said, yes, whatever we do, we are responsible for that. And whatever we do, we shall be the responsible for the consequences as well. When we look at someone, 8 impressions come into us, and that was a very good example. I felt that he was not dot on the topic. The speaker or the table topic master wanted to add something different from this topic than what he spoke on. And I also felt that he was a bit tense, not smiling, and he could have added some story that would have put some weight in the table topic speech. Overall, a great table topic session and great table topic speeches. Coming on to the Sergeant at Arms, Sandeep Kumar, he opened the meeting with the mission and welcomed all in the meeting room, and everything was done as per the book. I felt a little bit of low energy, so I would advise my Sergeant at Arms that when you start a meeting, it should be started with high energy, because the high energy flows from Sergeant at Arms to the President and to the then other role players. So energetic opening shall definitely bring a lot of activity or activity in the meeting. Coming on to the President, Raj Mehta DTM, he welcomed the guests, but he forgot the order of activities because before starting the busy section, he was going to invite the Toastmaster of the day. So that must be taken care of. And also, it is felt that there was not much fluency while showing the slides because he first tried to show it in some other mode, then he disconnected the slide sharing and did it again. So that should have been avoided. Maybe that should have been done. Some kind of practice or rehearsal should have been done before the meeting. Coming on to the Toastmaster of the day, Rupinder Singh DTM, whatever I say will be less for him. Great way of conducting the meeting and great way of explaining the required PR managers at PS. He combined his team as well as his PS, and which gave him a lot of time to explain the things. And he was on dot when he told us about that. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Sorry. I felt that there was no need of calling presiding officer for introducing the professional speech because it is the duty of the Toastmaster of the day. So he could have taken it himself because, frankly speaking, at the time the presiding officer was not ready for that particular act. I also felt that he forgot observing 1 minute of silence, and at one time he overdid it. So that could have been taken care of. Overall, a great meeting, but of course we can still improve in many aspects, and I hope that we shall all be working together for making ourselves better. Thank you very much, and over to the presiding officer. So how was the meeting?
Great.
Good.
How was the meeting, members and guests?
Great, sir.
Great. Okay. That's the word which we use the most. Great.
No, sir, the word that we use the most is amazing.
Thank you, Roli. Okay.
For
let's
me, the
take-
meeting was refreshing with the table topics and the visual elements. I can still imagine that lemonade that Sandeep had shown. I really want that right now.
Good. Okay. Toastmaster Seema, your opinion about our meeting today?
Yes, sir. It was good. It was good.
That's all.
Yeah. Yes.
Where should we improve?
Anyway, I don't know. I found energy quite low today, but yes, it was good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other member would like to say anything about the meeting?
Yeah, Seema has already told. So do you know what is the enemy of the great? What is enemy of great? Anyone?
The belief that we are great.
Good is the enemy of great. So we refuse to grow because we think we are good. We need to first acknowledge what are the gaps. We need to first address those, then only we can be great.
Okay. Now the question which I asked about my speech. What was special in today's speech, my opening speech? Did anyone notice anything?
You have tried brown sugar.
Good. Anything else?
No, only brown sugar.
Well, it is often said that the next generation is smarter than the previous generation, but your story clearly showed that the father was smarter than the son.
I was asking about the delivery. In my last Sunday speech, it was a description and only description, no dialogues. In today's speech, there was no description and only dialogues. The whole story was built on dialogues. I didn't mention how father looked or how mother was looking or how son was looking, where they were, what was time and anything. But from the dialogues, it was clear about the family members, about the topic they were talking about the timing of the day and all that. So that is one way of telling your story. I have decided to do every week something new, telling a speech of 2 minutes, but in some different way. At the same time, I would like to announce here that during these 6 months, I shall be giving opportunity to members of this club to perform the role of the president or in every third week. And Honey, Sonika, and all that. Mukesh and Raj Mehta and Rupinder and Sandeep have already done it. So I give it, I open it to members of this club, whosoever wants to take the role of the presiding officer from this moment till the end of the next week's meeting. All the responsibility shall be with me. If anything goes wrong, I shall be responsible. But idea is to give an opportunity to other members to do this role so that in our next election, there are many candidates for this position.
This
So who would like to try?
This role would be only for the meeting or for the entire week?
From the closure of today's meeting till the end of the next week's meeting. Minded, responsibility shall be with me. So you will be free to do anything, but if anything goes wrong, I will be responsible for that. Anisha, Roli, Aditya.
Sir, I have already played the role of the presiding officer several times.
In this club?
Yes, part of the BPA task is that.
Yeah, that I know, but okay. So you have done it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So what about Anisha Gupta? Or Aditya?
Well, for the time being, my plate seems to be full of BPA tasks. Other than that, I am not sure of the responsibilities, but I would do like to take that up if maybe not this week, next one. Thank you.
Next, okay, no problem. Okay, with this, I think we should call it a day. Or any member has any comments about today's meeting or anything? So Mukesh has asked me to convene an EC meeting, and I think Anisha also wants an EC meeting. Anisha?